nationally, which means in the cities somewhere between 70 and 80%. Now this consigns all English children to an ethnic minority over the next decade in all of our cities and across the country as a whole by 2030, 18 years from now. And the fact that this has been accomplished deliberately to further left-wing revolutionary ideology, to me it's treason. To me it's treason. And during Tony Blair's government, they actually issued booklets in the British Embassy in Pakistan explaining why Britain was such a good place to emigrate to, including our fantastically generous welfare state. And the chief official in Britain who was in charge of issuing visas, a Miss Linda Costello-Baker, actually told a House of Commons Select Committee that her department was under intense political pressure to hit immigration productivity targets. She also said it was easier to let them in than to reject applications, and over the course of 1 year alone of 2 million visas issued, she estimates 15% were issued to people who not only shouldn't be there, but were convicted terrorists and criminals in their own countries of origin. Now, exact population figures in Britain are very hard to come by. The authorities maintain there's around about 60 million British people, population of Britain. The Independent newspaper, based on supermarket food sales, estimates it at 78 million people, and this figure is borne out by the amount of national insurance cards in circulation, which are essential if you want to work or claim benefits, and that's 76 million. So it looks as though there's somewhere between 16 and 18 million people in my country who came in the last 10, 12, 15 years that we don't even know about. Now, clearly not all immigrants are Muslims, but they make up a sizable majority, and their high birth rate, which averages in Britain 4 children per woman, I'm not going to say per couple, because Muslim males can claim welfare benefits and housing costs for up to 4 wives and various children, even though polygamy is actually illegal in Britain. So this, coupled with uncontrolled immigration, has essentially doubled their population from the 1960s, when it was only 80,000. In 1990 it was 1 million, in 2000 it was 2 million, and we reckon it's somewhere between 3 to 4 million people now, 3 to 4 million Muslims. Now this is exactly why the next 50 years will be nothing like the last 50 years. Because when the Muslim population doubled from 50,000 to 100,000, nobody's really affected by this, except for the few Brits who live in the emerging Muslim enclaves. But when 3 million Muslims today become 6 million Muslims in 2020, become 12 million, become 24 million, then everyone is affected, because at that point we've lost our country. We've lost my country. And it gets worse. The indigenous British have roughly 1.5 children per couple, which means that today's generation being born is 25% smaller than their parents' generation. And the population pyramids of most European countries are upside down, by which I mean there are more elderly than there are young, but amongst the Muslims the population pyramids are the right way up, and the young greatly outnumber the old. And the Muslim demographic in Britain right now is growing 10 times faster than any other religious / racial demographic. The figures I'm going to give you now, this is quite important, they are all under the age of 40. It's not going to be a general population breakdown, but it's only under the age of 40. So the indigenous population today, under the age of 40, 25 million. Non-indigenous population, 6.75 million. If we project these figures forward based on birth rates on their side and based on the fact that we're declining, and we push them forward to 2030, 18 years from now, Indigenous population 19 million, non-indigenous population 13.5 million. But it gets worse and worse, because every year 250,000 native Brits, sick to the back teeth of multicultural Britain, are upping sticks and emigrating. If we take this into account and continued third world immigration, by 2030 the indigenous population will be 15 million people and the non-indigenous population 23 million people. So under the age of 40 we will have become an ethnic minority in our own country. The liberal left, of course, will say, so what? What's wrong with that? It's multiculturalism in action. Nothing wrong with that unless you're a racist or a bigot. Suppose they're wrong though. Suppose young Muslim males don't share this fluffy multicultural view that the liberal left share. Supposing they want to inflict upon us a very illiberal, monocultural Islamic rule over us. What can we do about it?